today I'm going to be messing up and finding out how slow Pentium 4 really is in these days. Got an old Google Mini server which has, I think, a Pentium 4 530. It's hyper-threaded, so up to 30% more performance. I got a little test bench set up. I got a USB stick, which I'm going to be testing today with Windows 7. I've played with Linux on here. It should be a bit faster with Linux, just because Linux likes less resources. But Windows 7 has a ton more software I can play with. I'm going to see how games and stuff run on it, just for fun. Graphics card wise, PCI 64-bit, or PCI X. I forget the exact naming of these. So that looks like I'm not using that. I have to use a 32-bit OS, which kind of gets rid of software. I'm going to see actually how much of a limitation that leaves me with realistically. And otherwise, I put this fan here and got rid of this stock really loud blower just because that thing's obnoxiously loud because it's built for servers, racks, instead of desks. Has 2 gigs of RAM. Let's see how this install goes. So it's already pretty loud and it's just power supply fan, hopefully. Oh, I have a FreeNAS disk installed, so that's why it's complaining. I forget which one. I think F12 is the BIOS. It's been stripped down a bit by Google, because there's an old Google Mini server. But just smashing F12 with delete. I forget which one. I've tried to PXE boot it and get to the PXE boot menu, but all my images are 64-bit because why would I use a 32-bit system? There we go. It's detecting the drive. Oh, is this actually like an IDE that's been emulated into a... Feels like that's an IDE system that's been, that's running a SATA converter because it has master and slave, because I know it shouldn't. SATA doesn't have that. So boot. First boot priority is removable, then hard drive. What's hard drive priority? USB. Okay, that should boot. Onto the USB drive. So, here we go. I never thought I'd need this. I have a 32-bit copy of Windows 7. Story is, yeah, I got it for my first PC. The 32-bit copy was like... I'm gonna reboot it right now. 32-bit copy makes me go like, oh, I think I accidentally installed 32-bit copy on my first computer and realized, why is it only using 3.3 gigs of RAM? Oops. Looks like it's doing it. So, yay, Windows is loading. It's gonna be slow on a CD drive. But should install normally. So I'll get back to you once Windows is installed and I get to play around with some hardware. So, I got it to finally work. Pentium 4, we're gonna call it, actually I'm just gonna put my name here. I got it to finally work. The annoying thing is I had to install it some weird way because of that error I was getting. I tried another drive or two, nothing happened. Basically someone had a guide online that essentially says, yeah, you copy all the files and you make your boot drive bootable, and then you tell it to install it once you copy them onto there. And blah blah blah, it works. And the guide worked. So luckily it does it. It probably left a ton of stuff to install junk on the boot drive. I don't really care. I have a 2 terabyte drive for a system I'm just messing with. That's more than enough space. Though I'm going to experiment with how much transferring it to this SSD makes it faster. Performance. It says it's dual core. No, it's not. Hyper-threading. Yeah, Pentium 4, 3 gig. Oh boy. Screen resolution. We can go to 1024-768, which is not the native res of this monitor. Gives me a bit more space though. Control panel, network. Okay, let's open up Device Manager and see how much stuff. I'm using almost no space on the drive. Device Manager, how much stuff am I missing drivers for? Actually, nothing. That's weird. Network adapters. Okay, it says I have 2 network adapters. I guess they're just not pushed in all the way because I keep losing the stupid clip thingies. I need to work on that. Now it says there's no link, but if I open Task Manager and that CPU is just put down high for idle. Yeah, so I should have internet right now. So I can load Microsoft site. So yay, internet, everything actually works out of the box, which is pretty darn surprising for Windows 7. Graphics is screwed up. I don't know what the graphics adapter is in here, but something tells me that isn't helping it. I don't know how to tell what hardware would be. I'm gonna hunt for drivers. Oh no, I'm running an old browser. I don't care. I'm gonna get some programs on here that I can mess with and just see how it kind of goes from there. So here's Ninite, the nice installer for Windows. Well, let's see if it actually supports 32-bit Windows now. Let's install a ton of stuff. Okay. See what doesn't work. So here's a few little benchmarks I'm gonna run just to see how fast it is now. CPU-wise and memory-wise. So first thing is passmark, which I get a partial result on the CPU of 342, and it crashes on using DirectX for GPU. So now it continues, but a CPU score of 340 compared to a modern system with a CPU score of roughly, I think a modern higher end, like a modern i7 gets around 10,000-ish points. So there you go. What else is low end? Modern Ultrabook is around 4,000 points, depends on the exact chip. You're going pretty low end. Like this is equivalent to like, I don't know, 0.8 gigahertz modern single core using modern architectures. Here's kind of the result of the benchmark. Cinebench gets me a whopping 0.48 points, which is horrible. 32-bit on Geekbench, oh my gosh, Internet Explorer, I get a whopping 1044 multi-core. You can see how hyperthreading really doesn't help on these old chips and the single core, which is a good amount worse than my phone. And Passmark, 261 total, which is in the second percentile. So this thing has bad benchmarks. In day-to-day usage, that's opening Chrome. It's not horrible day-to-day usage-wise. If I go like Mozilla Kraken, it opens. I mean, web pages actually load fairly quickly. If I want to run like the Mozilla Kraken benchmark, I think I get about 4,000. And yeah, here's 4,600 points. And if I go to some other website, such as maybe YouTube, and I look up one of my videos to play, it limits you to a roughly, I think 480p-ish video. I think I was able in Linux to get 1080, to get 720p going. Feels full screen 480p. If we say stats for nerds, it shows us frame drops. Actually, this feels a little bit stuttery. And if I open up Task Manager, it's almost being peaked right now. So 480p YouTube's pushing this system pretty hard, and it's not running too much else. Yeah. Memory usage actually is surprisingly low. Windows 7 doesn't need too much RAM. And I guess the ultimate benchmark control panel, has it already ran this system and security system? Hasn't ran, Windows Experience Index, it already ran it when you installed it, which is slow. Basically, CPU, Windows 7's built for really slow stuff. If this is getting a 4 out of 7.9, or it's a logarithmic scale, which, what is a 1? Memory operations, okay, memory is reasonably fast. Hard drive, it's a standard hard drive, it gets 5. And gaming and standard graphics gets 1. Graphics is just completely horrible. So the next thing I'm going to be trying is a quick little SSD upgrade in this guy, just to see how much it does. I really don't know how much an SSD upgrade would do on such an old system. So the first thing I want to try is see how fast the boot times are without the SSD upgrade. So I should plug the SSD in, but yeah, we're going to just plug it in right now. Here's a little drive benchmark. I did the boot up test. Here's another thing. Let's just open up Chrome, see how long that takes. That was actually fairly quick for what it is. If I open up like Opera, which is a program I don't use very much, so it probably wouldn't ever cache it. It's taking considerably longer. But still not horrible. The other test I run is, this is a Fedora Live image. I'm going to use just 7-zip, and then I'm going to say add to archive, and we're just going to say compression level store, so it's not going to compress it at all. Shove it. I can only use one CPU set because I'm just storing it. I'm not going to split it, just going to store it. So this guy shouldn't be disk limited. Let's see how fast it's going now. It's going roughly 50 odd megabytes per second, so that could easily be disk limited. CPU usage is low enough that I don't think it would be CPU limited. And now this drive's in, for a little bit of thing, we're going to run I'm curious if it's going to show up. And the other thing we're going to want to run is download a cloning program. What I'm going to do is we're going to just clone this drive, my C drive, which doesn't have much space used it, and clone it onto the SSD here. And we're going to delete all of his existing partitions. Should only be one partition on here plus the boot drive. Yeah, I guess there's other ways to do it. I have to shrink the partition. If we go to advanced options, is there anything fun we get to? Okay, you can also do a DD in Linux because it's smaller and shrink the partition in Windows. I'm just curious how well this is going to work. I do not want to schedule it. I want to just run it. Sure. And this will take a while. So here's the numbers in Crystal Disk Mark. We can notice sequential speeds aren't that much faster. This is definitely a SATA limitation. It is running SATA first gen, so it's about 1.5 gigabit per second. So if we go to calculator, you can see that 1500 divided by 8 gives you 187, which is its theoretical maximum. But remember, you also have a lot of problems with that. The chips often aren't capable of that. You have different encoding in it, so there's a difference between the maximum amount of bits and the maximum amount of bytes you can often get. Depends on the standard. I don't know too much about how SATA is running under the hood. You can notice here random speeds though, these 4K random speeds are much better, especially the QDepth of 32. SSDs are really good at random speeds. And for the next test, Opera. Opening. It feels a bit faster. Don't remember the exact time. I'll put the times up side by side. Seems to load stuff faster, but if I open Chrome up now, it's a bit faster. But really, not that much faster. And you can definitely see, on a Pentium 4 system, really an SSD is not worth it. It's CPU limited. It's just pinned at 100 right now. What am I running? What is even using it? Opera's using it. What the heck is Opera? I don't know. It's hiding somewhere. And now I'm down. You're way too CPU limited. So that's kind of the general analysis. So thanks for watching this little video about if these little SSDs are worth it in such old systems, and just watching me play around with an old Pentium 4 system.